And once you know that the cocoa equals secret, it all makes perfect sense. Okay? The Spirit of God on the inside of the believer is something that people can't see. It's the exact same thing God ordained with cocoa. When I'm full of cocoa and you see me walking down the street, you really can't see a whole lot different from the other guy walking beside me. But I am so exceedingly happy and content and gratified on the inside, I am practically bursting for joy. It's the exact same as the Spirit of God living on the inside of the believer. Okay? You can't see it visibly from a distance. But mark my words, when you run into that person and you start interacting with them and talking with them, the joy and the peace and the love and the contentment literally explodes out of their face, their mouth, their reactions, their conversation. Okay? Pretty exciting though that it all adds up mathematically, because God is the king of efficiency. Okay, so RS. Now you got an exciting word study to do, as I've done. I've made a long list a few days ago of occupations that end in RS that apply. So the cocoa applies to everyone. Remember, RS equals cocoa. So here you go. Cocoa applies to pastors. All of these end in RS. Cocoa gets the last word. Ready? Cocoa applies to pastors, leaders, teachers, prime ministers, lovers, worshippers, fathers, mothers, sisters, brothers, rulers, educators, doctors, lawyers, workers, builders, contractors, conductors, singers, engineers, inventors, farmers, framers, laborers, helpers, healers, preachers, ministers, dancers, players, employers, managers, founders, directors, administrators, programmers, videographers, admirers, listeners, adorers. Now the word friends is cool because ND equals R, ends in cocoa. Servers, designers, creators, prayer warriors, laughers, partiers, God seekers, God lovers, God worshippers. Children ends in cocoa. Drivers, what did I write here? Diver, what did I write there? Cider? Drivers, riders, writers, readers, speakers, listeners, composers, conductors, hearers, talkers, partners, co-workers, God-pleasers, givers, receivers, butchers, bakers, candlestick makers, bus drivers, horseback riders, seniors, elders, teenagers, middle-agers, all-agers, thinkers, philosophers, researchers, scholars, dreamers. All of those words that basically summarize every activity and occupation of people from the dawn of time all end in RS, which equals cocoa. So I'm here to tell you, by God Almighty, that cocoa is the official consumption object of choice for every single human to perform all of these occupations as teams at the highest level of joy, happiness, focus, prosperity, joy, effectiveness, you name it, happiness. That's it. And as you study, and then I have another list that literally describes how people would behave and perform their deeds and occupations while on a cocoa-rich diet, and all of these words end in ly, which equals 37 in which equals cocoa. For example, people will do their things lovingly, okay, naturally, okay, all these end in ly, which is cocoa. Naturally, lovingly, wholly, carefully, joyfully, perfectly, excellently, speedily, diligently, angelically, flawlessly, precisely, accurately, satisfyingly, wisely, smartly, intelligently, sharply, godly, godlike, happily, peacefully, easily, heartily, cheerfully, blissfully, delightfully, superbly, stupendously, majestically, radically, extremely, artistically, beautifully, finely, nicely, exquisitely, masterfully, joyfully, blissfully, gorgeously, divinely, supernaturally, radiantly, snappily, cordially, friendly, humorously, hilariously, constantly, consistently, continuously, flawlessly, faithfully, repeatedly, convincingly, perfectly, persistently, justly, righteously, thoughtfully, thankfully, worshipfully, exactly, correctly, willingly, eagerly, effortlessly, painlessly, easily, humbly, kindly, tidily, superbly, impressively, sacrificially, selflessly, laughingly, worshipfully, lovingly. Okay? All because they are living the cocoa-rich diet. Because that's how awesome it makes you feel in your entirety on the inside. That is exactly how people are going to perform. That is exactly how they are going to do all their work. Okay? Essentially, they're going to behave angelically, godly, godlike. The word like equals cocoa. All because they are saturated on the inside with their abundant cocoa, with their abundant God food. Free of charge, with water, easily for everyone, everywhere, worldwide. Done. Cocoa 37 gets the last